The event's about halfway done, and right now all the drivers are lining up along the track for a photography hour. They're not letting spectators on, so most people are taking lunch. But since I had that bowl of delicious udon noodles, which were just great, I'm used to sloppy joes or grilled cheese out at the track, so this was a nice change. It was restaurant quality, but right there. I'm gonna go down the road, because as we were driving the taxi, I noticed out of the corner of my eye a big lot of what looked like maybe not abandoned vehicles, but certainly in disrepair, covered in dust. And there was a lot of enthusiast cars. I saw some Subarus, Nissans, Toyotas. Not really sure what's there because it passed by so quickly, but I think it's worth the couple of mile jog down the road to check it out and investigate. And then back up here to the track to watch the second session and the end of the day. I see a couple of cool things in the distance. Looks like an old legacy wagon, an STI, and C33 Laurel, I believe. So this might be what I saw out of the corner of my eye, but there were more cars, so probably there's a back lot. Non-turbo legacy, so not that cool. The turbo version of these had a closed deck block, which is super sought after in the United States, but it is right-hand drive, so it would make for a good mail vehicle back home. And it looks like a Club S Laurel right here. Not the good one, but still a body that's really cool. I love this style. And then an STI and with the hood pop, so probably not working. Blown ringlets is my guess. Here we go. This is at least part of what I saw. Oh yeah, there's a bunch of cool stuff in the back. I don't know if I can go anywhere near that, but I've seen an RX-8 with multiple colors. It's half primer. Impreza wagon, Miata, another RX-8. And some Imprezas, GC body style over here. Looks like a ton of them. Those are all rusted out back home, so a car like this. Oh, I think this is actually the Casablanca. If you notice this weird front end on it, that's a pretty rare chassis Impreza. Yes, Casablanca. It also has really weird tail lights and a bumper that we didn't get in the US. So kind of a hate it or love it style. I'll flash up a picture of what these look like, not abandoned. Back here looks like a ton of STIs. I see some Skylines, S14, wide body STI. There's an Integra. The building itself, the windows are broken. I'm not sure exactly what's going on. A86 caged and stock Silvias, a bunch of them. A Chrysler Crossfire, that's really weird. And version 3 STI looks like. None of them have license plates. And they all look like they're in pretty good condition. Some of them, like that 86, have cages and looks like they're race built, probably to go around Nikko Circuit, but it looks like they never got a chance to. A lot of these cars were probably purchased really cheaply and just put in here to resell eventually. It's kind of a shame because some of the Subarus, especially the Imprezas, are really getting weathered, and somebody would pay good money for them if they were just cleaned up and shipped to the United States. And that can be said for a lot of cars here. That 86 right there, it does look fairly clean, although the tires are kind of flat on it, so it's been sitting a while. But that's probably a $20,000+ car back home. Looks really clean, probably original paint, obviously no rust. And a lot of these cars, the S14s, there's a R34 Skyline back there, they're worth some money. So I'm guessing the owner didn't just leave them here. He probably stores them until they increase in value maybe, or stores some of these cars for the track. All right, I did a little no-no, but you're gonna have to forgive me since this area is open and not technically fenced in. I did walk inside there just to get a closer look at the WRXs right there. Looked inside the building and there's like another 4 or 5 WRXs inside in much better condition. Presumably they've been sitting in there for months or even years, because you guys saw there are boxes all over the place. Now I'm super intrigued and I'm back to thinking that some of these might be abandoned. I don't know, maybe the owner bought all of these up really cheap and then just left them here and moved or died or something. But my best guess is most of these cars haven't moved in years, maybe decades. I'm also starting to doubt my theory about these being stored for resale, because most of these cars are over 25 years old, so they can be sold into the US, and peak prices already happened during the pandemic. They're still pretty high, but they are going down. So if he was ready to sell these, they should have been already sold. I really think these cars have been forgotten about. The real shame is I'm guessing that most of you guys watching, and myself included, would kill for a lot of these cars. Maybe not the Casablanca Impreza, but certainly the GC WRXs, the Skylines, the Laurels, all the really cool stuff out here. So it just sucks to see them being abandoned like this. There's probably a dozen cars here, 3 or 4 over there, and then 35, 40 cars there. So you're talking about 60 enthusiast cars. They're just sitting here. A little bit further down the road, I'm seeing some used car dealer lots. Looks like a lot of the Jimmys and little SUV things that I don't know much about are being sold there. And I don't know if they're affiliated with that lot. I'm gonna kind of poke around, see what I can find. I walked a little further down the road and it looks like there is a small automotive reseller, Tezuka Motors, and they have a lot of little sandbars and high jets, mini micro trucks and vans, and I did spot a few Imprezas right there. So I'm guessing they're affiliated with that area over there. Not sure if these are for sale, but man, they've been sitting here a long time. Look at that. I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4 over there. Looks like an Evo 8 with a wrecked front end. I just had a very brief conversation with the owner of that little dealership, and the mystery continues. I pointed to the cars and basically asked if they were his, and he gave me an X, which means no, they're not. And then he pointed a little further down the road, but further down the road, there isn't another dealership. There's really just more abandoned houses. So I have no idea. Maybe he's trying to say that they really are abandoned and he's not affiliated with them. Maybe this used to be a dealership and they shut down. But if that's the case, it must have been decades ago, because these buildings are about to fall apart. Half the windows are broken and the only thing inside them is trash. So I think we'll never know the answer to this one. Maybe I'll dig in online and somebody else has said something about this. Because it's on the way to Nikko Circuit, I'm certainly not the first to see it. In fact, the hundreds of people that are at the event right now drove by it, and I'm assuming people have been talking about it. I'm just probably the only one that was dumb enough to jog the couple of miles to check it out. But in any case, I'm glad I did. It's not like I was gonna take one of these cars, stick it in my pocket and go home with it, but it is pretty cool to get to see this. These are cars that you'd only see in a car meet, and only maybe a few of them in good condition. I'm just getting back to the track and a little winded because I ran the last 2 miles and I've got layers on, so I'm really starting to sweat. I had to take my coat off, but it's about 45 degrees, so it was cool this morning. It's feeling really nice now that I'm kind of warmed up. I can also hear the cars starting to go again. I think the competition started about a half hour ago, and there's about 2 more hours of driving, so plenty more for me to see and record. And then afterwards, I'm gonna have to make my way back into town somehow, because the taxi that I took up here isn't running the other way, and it's about an hour-and-a-half walk if I have to do that, so I'm hoping I won't. Try and figure out what the rest of the crowd is doing and how they're getting home, maybe bum a ride with someone. And then after that, it's back down to Tokyo, and I fly out tomorrow, so I'm gonna have as much fun as I can now and not think about leaving this place quite yet.